Hello and welcome to Nikolai's genetics lessons, and today's problem is diploid plant species A has a diploid number 14 chromosomes, tetraploid species B has diploid number 28 chromosomes. A plant breeder hybridized the two species and used colchicine to double up chromosomes to produce a fertile allehexaploid. The allehexaploid will have, and you have to choose the correct answer, chromosomes per cell. And it is very easy to understand the first part or the first sentence of this problem, that species A diploid number 14 chromosomes. So let's write down. So this is going to be, say, chromosome number 1. In diploid organism, of course, we would have two chromosomes number 1, would have two chromosomes number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So as you see, this diploid organism has 14 chromosomes and 7 different chromosomes, and each chromosome represented with two variants that we call homologous. Now we have also tetraploid species B, which diploid number equals to 28 chromosomes. So probably most of you know that tetraploid means that organism has 4 sets of the chromosomes, and I can represent the sets of chromosomes as follows. So for, say, chromosome number 1, we would have 4 chromosomes, 2 chromosomes from one species and 2 from the second species. So this is going to be a hybrid of two species, and this allo tells us that this is hybrid between two closely related species. And tetraploid means that, for example, chromosome number 1 would be present in 4 copies. In other words, I can say that, imagine that this line represents how life developed on our planet, and somewhere here we have a point. It happened about 60 million ago when grasses emerged, and about say here in this point 20 million ago, one species of grass separated to two species. One we know as sorghum, another one we know as maize. So when these two species separated, these two species still can be found in nature, but because of 20 millions have passed, these two species cannot hybridize anymore. But say somewhere in this point, when these species were still much more closely related to each other than nowadays, say somewhere here is genetic threshold when these two species still could hybridize and make a new species, and in this species we can find chromosome from one parent. So this is going to be chromosome number 1 from one parent, and this also going to be chromosome number 1 from second parent. And during say meiosis or mitosis, this chromosome number 1 by organism would be treated as if it is two different chromosomes. These chromosomes are homologous. So this would be chromosome number 1, and this would be chromosome number 1, but just from different species. These two chromosomes that are homologous can be very, very closely have the same, almost the same genetic makeup, same 90%, but still would have also accumulate a lot of changes. And in order to save a space, I would put such chromosome number 1, 4 copies of this chromosome in one line. So you have to understand that this color represents, say, one species, this represents second species, and for chromosome number 1 we have 4 homologous chromosomes, and this is also true for all the rest chromosomes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And also we have 2 chromosomes derived from the second species. Also in this organism it is present in 2 copies. So once again, as I said, I can say that this second pair of chromosomes also can be represented as 2 pairs of chromosomes. So during, say, mitosis or meiosis, all these chromosomes would line up in this fashion and would be pulled to the different parts of the daughter cells, or the same mother cell, and then mother cell would separate to 2 daughter cells. So as you see, in this allotetraploid organism, diploid number of the chromosomes would equal to 28. I don't have enough space to line up all these chromosomes in one line, so I just would represent them as here in this picture. So according to our problem, a plant breeder hybridizes the 2 species and uses colchicine to double up the chromosomes to produce a fertile allohexaploid. So what does it mean? This means that this diploid organism, when it produces gametes, for example in the form of pollen, would be haploid. So in the gametes we may find only half the number of the chromosomes, so instead of 14 we would find 7 chromosomes, 1 chromosome from each pair of chromosomes. And say this organism, if this would be male plant, and say this is female plant, would produce egg, and this egg would have also have the number of chromosomes. So 1 chromosome from this pair and 1 chromosome from this pair. So resulting gamete of this plant would have 2 chromosomes for each variant of the chromosomes. So gamete of this plant that has 28 chromosomes would have 14 chromosomes. And now if this pollen and this egg would join, we would see a result as hybrid that would be triploid. And we have many examples in our life of triploid plants. We eat them every day. We prefer them to any other plants because fruits of such plants would be seedless. So anyone usually prefer seedless watermelons. We eat such fruits as banana that doesn't have seeds, and many other fruits and vegetables that normally have seeds. And if you see that the fruit you eat doesn't have seeds, most likely it is triploid. Triploid organism cannot form seeds because triploid organism cannot divide its genetic material in equal proportions, because we cannot divide 3 by 2 in discrete numbers. So here we can divide by 2, 4 we can divide by 2, but 3 we cannot divide by 2. So such plants usually only can be propagated by vegetative method, whether by cuttings or by cloning. So now, according to our problem, a plant breeder hybridizes 2 species and use colchicine, and colchicine is such chemical that prevents formation of microtubules that separate genetic material from mother cell to two daughter cells. So imagine that during mitosis, mother cell have to make copy of each chromosome in order for daughter cells to get the same number of chromosomes. So each chromosome would make its copy, and then each such tetrasome, so now as you see we have 4 chromosomes here, would be separated, and microtubules would form and would pull each pair of chromosome to different parts of the mother cell, and then in the middle plate would form, and two daughter cells would have the same number of chromosomes as original mother cell, so would have a diploid number of chromosomes. Now imagine that because of the influence of this chemical colchicine, these microtubules wouldn't be able to form, and genetic material of the cell would double but would stay in the mother cell. So now we, instead of diploid organism, will have tetraploid organism. And in our picture here, that means that each chromosome now would have its copy, and its copy would stay in mother cell. So instead of triploid organism, now we have hexaploid organism. And why scientists double genetic material? Because when we had 3 chromosomes, such organism only can be reproduced vegetatively, but now because we can divide 6 by 2, such organism will produce viable seeds, and each gamete would have 3 chromosomes. So when gametes would join, result would be once again hexaploid organism. So hexaploid organism would have a total number of different chromosomes that equals to 7, and would have 6 chromosomes for each variant. So total number of chromosomes would be 42, and this is answer D. And this is all for today. Thank you for attention. Please subscribe for my new videos that I post almost every day. Thumbs up if you like this video. Please write your comments, questions if you have any, and see you in the next video. Goodbye.